fourth order of the day is the second reading of the Federal Medical Center Obukpa, Nsukka, Enugu State Establishment Bill 2022. Distinguished colleagues will recall that the bill was read the first time in this distinguished chamber on Tuesday, 2nd March 2021. Mr. President, you will be able to invite distinguished Senator Utazi to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Distinguished Senator Godfrey Utazi.
And distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Utazi. I rise to lead the debate on Federal Medical Center Obukpa, Nsukka, Enugu State Establishment Bill 2022. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to lead the debate on the general principles of the Federal Medical Center Establishment Bill 2022. You will recall that this bill was read for the first time on 2nd March 2021. This bill primarily and essentially seeks to establish a federal medical center in Enugu North Senatorial District of Enugu State. Enugu North Senatorial District, densely populated and commanding more than half of Enugu State, regrettably is without a tertiary health institution. For referrals from secondary health institutions that dot the senatorial district. This district being a gateway from the northern Nigeria to the southeast geopolitical zone is blessed with great landmass. Being in the center and sharing borders with Kogi and Benue States, it means from its location and positioning, majority of border communities in the aforementioned states seek medical care in Nsukka rather than going to far-flung tertiary health institutions in Lokoja and Makurdi. In addition to this is the issue of large presence and dominance of herdsmen and their cattle. Nsukka zone being a buffer zone between the north and the southeast is a major attraction to the herdsmen because of easy availability of water bodies and all year-round green vegetation for their cattle. As a consequence, Fulani herdsmen have countless settlements in my district. The addition of a large population of settled Fulani herdsmen to the already dense population of Enugu North Senatorial District put an enormous pressure on the inadequate primary and secondary health institutions in my district with resultant fatalities. That the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital Ituku-Ozalla is located at extreme end and on the way out of Enugu to Abia, Imo States, to the south-south region compounds the health needs of people in my district. The implications are monumental and disastrous because before you transport patients on referrals to either UNTH Ituku-Ozalla or to ESU Teaching Hospital in Enugu, what you will be conveying is the remains of the patients to the moods, as he or she would have died long before getting anywhere near the referred hospitals. The above scenario, which is a daily occurrence in the life of the sick and vulnerable in my district, should not be the bane of citizens in a 21st century Nigeria. And the retort from my people is the Enugu North Central District say parts of Nigeria. Hence, the sponsorship of this bill, which its purport is the establishment of a federal medical center in Obukpa. But then, the question is, why Obukpa? It is Obukpa because that was the original site for UNTH before, out of conspiracy and bad politics, the power that be then forcibly relocated the teaching hospital to Ituku-Ozalla, away from the main campus of University of Nigeria and Nsukka. And in the process, this has become the first in history of universities in Nigeria where the teaching hospital is not sited within the main campus. That is objectionable and unconscionable, but we are living with it. The good news, however, is that if the Federal Medical Center bill is passed into law and favorably assented to by Mr. President, the Federal Medical Center will not be starting from ground zero. This is because most of the hospital blocks built for the takeoff of the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital in Obukpa are there and skeletally are being used as health center by UNTH Ituku-Ozalla. Desirous to get this Federal Medical Center bill approved for my district, I have committed part of my zonal intervention for the past 2 years to renovating the buildings and other health facilities in these abundant sites now. I have bought for the would-be Federal Medical Center an ambulance, dug hole for it, among other things, to show our preparedness to host a Federal Medical Center in Enugu North Central District that will essentially cater for the health needs of our densely and thickly populated senatorial district. This is not to talk of border communities from Kogi and Benue States, inclusive of countless settlements of Fulani herdsmen that will equally benefit from having a referral tertiary health institution very close to them. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, this parliament is a parliament of representatives of our people. As a senator, the core responsibilities of each and every one of us are threefold: representation, lawmaking, and oversight. As a representative of Enugu North Senatorial District of Enugu State, that was elected by a majority of 146,458 votes in the 2019 senatorial election, by way of popular mandate, may I, on their behalf, beg the Senate not only to support the expeditious passage of this bill, but to ensure that Mr. President gives assent to it. This is because the importance of the Federal Medical Center, not only to my constituents, but because of its centrality to the health needs of Kogi and Benue border communities. In compliance with Order 77.3 of the Senate Standing Orders 2015 as amended, and financial compendium showing the financial implication of the proposed bill on the Treasury is here to attach for your kind consideration. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, my colleagues, for going to assist and support me to get this bill passed into law. Thank you so much.
Distinguished Senator Uche Ekunefe Iyom.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Uche Lilian Ekunefe. Mr. President, I come from Anambra State. Mr. President, I would like to commend my brother, Senator Utazi, for this very wonderful bill he has presented to us this morning. Mr. President, this bill is quite stressed. It's not a bill that we're going to waste so much time on. Mr. President, with the growing population in Nigeria, it has become very compelling that we establish medical centers across the nation. Mr. President, we are calling for this establishment because many of the health centers we have in different towns in this country are not working. They are not functional. They don't have medical personnel. They don't have drugs. They don't have equipment. They don't even have good environment for people to have access to them. Mr. President, we have 177 local government areas in this country. I don't think we have even one local government that has the number of medical centers or hospitals that can take care of the population in that particular local government. Mr. President, last week, Senator Patrick brought a bill like this, and I suggested that we should have well-functioning medical centers in different zones of this country. As it is today, the citizens don't have access to proper medical care in their environment. That is why we have different private hospitals everywhere. It is the responsibility of the government to ensure that the citizens have access to to quality medcare. It is their right. It is our constitutional obligation that citizens get proper and well affordable Medicare in this country. But they don't have. Many parents will take their children to hospital. They will not even have the money to offset the medical bills. The government hospitals are not working. They don't have drugs. Therefore, in supporting this, I'm supporting it, believing that government should go back to fund, equip, and make our health centers across this country to be functional. Let citizens have access to proper and quality health care. Mr. President, I support this, and I call my colleagues to please give support to this very meritorious bill. I so submit, Mr. President.
Is anybody against the bill? Is anybody against the bill? Those in favor that this bill be now read the second time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the legal framework to establish the Paramedical Center of Obukpa in Nsukka, Enugu State, and for related matters 2022 SB 599, second reading.
A bill for an act to provide the legal framework to establish the Federal Medical Center of Obukpa, Nsukka, Enugu State, and for related matters 2022, second reading taken. And the bill is referred to the Committee on Health to report back within 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fifth order of the day